That's a new one, so I'll give it to you. Kecleon and Regigigas combo. That seems like quite a bit of fun. Are we going to see the skill swap out of that, giving it to the Protean, and then just nutty things happen from there? Who knows? Who knows? So Kecleon and Regigigas gonna be a thing, and that's going to go into Darmanitan Gyarados. Darmanitan Gyarados matchup is also going to be a little interesting right here. Gyarados with the Intimidate. Going to get a lot of power out of that one, because the slow start on top of the Intimidate, not going to work out too well. And Gyarados is just going to set up a Dragon Dance, so massive amounts of power over the opponent right now, and fairly tanky because two physical attackers. So Gyarados is going to gain speed, Darmanitan's going throughout the Earthquake, works out with that flying typing, and then Regigigas and Kecleon not taking a lot of damage. But there's the skill swap. Psychic type, swapping it into the Regigigas. I mean, this does give you an opportunity to swap later and then get an Intimidate onto the Gyarados, so that could be a thing. And Regigigas has Power Punch, so fighting type, I don't know if it's going to be like super beneficial, but hey, going to gain attack right there, and that's going to make up for the Intimidate. Slow start's gone, but it is my Power Punch strat. So here we go, into the Rock Slide. Rock Slide on Darmanitan's going to be massive, enough to knock it out without that slow start. And we're back in that neutral ground, also super effective on the Gyarados. And Kecleon going to skill swap it. So now you're giving the slow start to the opposing Pokemon as well, and stealing that Intimidate for yourself. Gyarados is done. Gyarados is done. Okay. Like, I guess now you can freely switch out the Kecleon and then just focus down the other opponent's Pokemon. Like, that's when you Power Up Punch into return or whatever you want to do. And it will be the Muck. So Regigigas has Rock Slide. What's Kecleon doing? Still hanging in there. Alright, Gyarados goes down. You can still do that. That does work. I would try to set up on the Muck just a little more. Oh, Kecleon has Attract. I love it. Attract hacks are so cool. Like, whenever you just bring out that Pocket Attract, the Pocket Swagger, some very fun things. So Muck have the Flinch, so 30% chance on top of the 50% chance. Now we see the Alakazam. Now Kecleon has the Sucker Punch. Even the Sucker Punch. Big damage on the Alakazam. Alakazam has Focus Blast. Focus Blast isn't going to work because... Actually, no, it is. You're a Rock type, so super effective. Regigigas does survive. Has a Citrus Berry. Oh, this is beautififul. This is the Regigigas strat that I showed in my how to use, and it is just going off right now like my phone. See, my phone got hyped over what is happening right now. And there we go. Is the Attract shutdown real? Muck's going to Toxic. Toxic Kecleon, I guess he just expected the Focus Blast to work. Yeah, I was thinking he was still fighting from the Power Punch, but even after the Rock type, super effective. Not enough on that Focus Blast. And there we go. Regigigas styling on that Power Punch. Protean, fighting type, and that will be enough to take out the Muck. GG. I want to see more. Let's go watch some more of this. I'm hype. Oh, legendary Pokemon, what are you going to bring to this? Also, the guy's got a Drapion. I love this guy. This team is amazing. This fan submission is amazing. I'm excited to see what happens. So Kecleon, Regigigas, once again, is the combo going to be as real? Groudon and Kyogre. Sure. Why not? Let's go and see how this plays out. So Regigigas got the slow start, but we already know things are going to be happening right there. Can we survive the initial onslaught, though? Because Kyogre and Groudon lay down the hate, lay down the pain. As we see, there's the Primordial Sea, but we're going... I've already talked about this. I thought we already talked about this, that what you want to do is you want your Groudon to Primal first by it being faster than the Kyogre. That way, when you have Rain out, it's not going to hurt your Origin Pulse. So the opponent's kind of like shooting himself in the foot. Actually can't Origin Pulse, so taking some of that power away. And Kyogre just has the Ice Beam. So, Ice Beaming onto the Kecleon. Kecleon's got decent amount of special defense, and Groudon with the Fissure, not going to work, but Kecleon has the skill swap. So, removing that slow start, making sure we can be somewhat fast enough to deal with stuff, and Kecleon swapping the abilities. Slow start, and that's the thing, but Regigigas can now Drain Punch. So, anticipating the damage, not really having to worry, but the Drain Punch will happen regardless. A little bit of damage on that Kyogre, and there we go. So, Drain Punch once again. There! That's going to be massive. So, the critical hit after that, getting rid of the slow start. Huh. That'll happen. Regigigas is going to keep avoiding that Fissure. Kecleon on that skill swap will make it to where Groudon, if it decides to use an attacking move, won't really be able to do much of anything. Okay. So sunlight will fade. Oh, that's right, because Kecleon has Desolate Land, and now the sunlight comes back. That has to be really weird, like, really weird. Playing on the emotions of the sky right now. Then we go into Dialga. Dialga, shiny. Why wouldn't it be? Of course. As we get to see Kecleon with the Sucker Punch. So Sucker Punch is kind of throwing damage around, getting something on the Groudon, and Dialga has the Aura Sphere. That's going to hurt. Kecleon, you can... Wow, never mind. That's not going to hurt because of the whole setup with the... whatever he just used. The Sucker Punch. Wait. Sucker Punch and Aura Sphere. Okay, I'm confused. Oh, no, never mind. Never mind. Kecleon is permanently a Psychic type because it skill swapped the Protean from that. So that means the Aura Sphere isn't going to do as much. Okay. Things to remember. Dragon Pulse will be enough to finish off the Kecleon, but Regigigas keeps pushing for this one, and the Harsh Sunlight will fade. Power Punch, so now we're gaining our stats on Dialga. Dialga is going to go down, though. So the super effective hit will be enough. Regigigas gaining those stats. Nice. I will say. The damage right there really coming through. And Groudon on the Earthquake, but it still should not be able to get it going. And then that's just enough for Citrus Berry. Heals up a lot back in return. And that's... there we go. That's a thing. Yveltal comes into play, and that should be a pretty quick finish with a Drain Punch right there as we go into Crobat for some high damage on the Groudon as well. Dark Aura, yep, and then Oblivion Wing. So, outspeeding on that Oblivion Wing, going to go and hit Crobat for not quite half its health. Nothing to heal up right there since it was at full health. Super Fanging on the Groudon because just really bulky and hard to deal with. Regigigas is actually converting the Rock Slide off of this. That's fancy. Yveltal is going to take not quite enough to KO. Groudon's also taking some damage. There's an Earthquake. No effect on the Crobat or the Yveltal. And Gigas is going to take some damage. Super effective. Okay. Just so many type things are going on right now. It's kind of crazy off of that Rock Slide. Crobat's got the Confuse Ray. Yveltal's going to avoid it. Regigigas has the Rock Slide. And because of that, you know, Yveltal just kind of vanishes in its own little world. Groudon's going to go down. And here we go. Here we go. Phantom Force off of the Yveltal. And Phantom Force is going to be solid damage. It will not be enough, though. So that's what we're dealing with right now as we watch the rest of this play out. So yeah, it's over. It's over at this point. We knew that it was going to be down and it was going to be done. But that's going to be enough to finish right there on the damage. And there we go. That is going to be GG. And then apparently saving the best one for last because the comment says that this is the best one by far. It's totally the best one. So Blaziken Bisharp. I guess it's because, you know, that's a pretty mean looking setup. How's Kecleon and Regigigas going to deal with the Blaziken of all Pokemon? But I mean, Blaziken goes for the Protect. That's... You got me. You got me. What happened? Why? Like, it couldn't have gone that wrong. Did the opponent just not want to deal with that? I'm so confused. I thought we had enough going for us. Well then, I'm actually a bit disappointed. I wanted there to be more battles. I wanted to see more of this. But I guess that's a thing that happened. Alright, so overall, let's just break down the strategy because it was kind of interesting. I talked about Regigigas that maybe if you have Rock Slide, you can help get through your slow start. On top of just the obvious, like, you skill swap it away. You remove the ability for that ability to hinder you, and then good things are going to happen. And then it just kind of works. Like, you have a lot of stats that if you get those outspeeds, because your 100 base speed is actually pretty decent without that slow start applying, you can make that work. So Power Punch, Drain Punch, Rock Slide, yeah, I mean, you can put out enough damage, and you are tanky enough to survive. Kecleon providing a little bit of support, also putting its own little damage as well. And I mean, I'd imagine the Drapion just comes in like acupressures, and then silly things happen. I also really like that, you know, keeping with that skill swap, you know, you just keep skill swapping stuff around until magical things happen, like removing the power on that Gyarados. If that was a stronger Pokemon, if that was a crazier Pokemon, could have gotten away with a bit more. And I know the second battle, which is why I'm disappointed the third battle just kind of ended that way. Like, the second battle wasn't the craziest, but at the same time, we were going up against legendaries. legendaries are going to have much higher stats than average, so it's even if a legendary is playing suboptimally, it's still going to be a really decent threat. So we can see that happening right there. I want to see, you know, like, slow start on the Groudon make a bit more sense, and then things like that happen. The Kyogre took a lot of damage. It did go down to a crit, but overall, like, even against legendaries, we saw the damage. You can still amp up and build the damage. I want to see how this team would have gotten broken down as well, because Blaziken, it could hurt, but at the same time, like, you get your strategy off. It goes for the protect, because it's one set speed, and then slow start applies, and then you just try to beat it down. But yeah, Blaziken would have been kind of difficult. Bisharp, though, really, really easy. You just, like, power punch off of it, and then get a bajillion points of stats, and then we're good to go. So I think we've talked about this enough. One more Fan Fridays coming up next, so I hope to see you guys then, and yeah, one more Fan Fridays.